Hey everyone, it's Talia here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. This beautiful set of nails was done back in September on one of my clients that used to come to me when I used to work full-time, and she had asked if I would do her wedding nails for her, and I was so excited to do them. It is also a kind of a full set tutorial because she had no nails on coming in. So I'm going to show you guys how I build extensions right from the beginning and my steps for that. So let's jump in and get started in the tutorial. Now, I don't build full sets very often anymore because the majority of my clients that are on my clientele list right now are just fills. But when I do build full sets, I do like to just put all my forms out so that they're ready to go and easy access. In this video, I was using my Amore bonder to build my extensions. I've currently switched to the Fusion Sculpture, and I really like that because it's a little bit thicker. And the next thing that I do is just kind of prep my form a little bit by rolling it between my fingers to kind of make it round out a little bit before I put it underneath my client's nail. Now, this particular client had really nice nail beds that I didn't have to cut the form, but if it didn't fit properly or nicely underneath there, then I totally would be cutting the form as well. When I build my extensions, I like to put the gel all over the nail bed as well as build the extension out all in one step. And I build my shape that I want for the nails while I'm building out the extension. So in this particular case, I didn't want like a super sharp pointy nail, and I didn't want like a really rounded oval nail, and I didn't really want an almond. Like, it was kind of hard to explain, but she wanted them a little bit more sharper than in like a true almond. So I'm building them as like an almond shape, and then I'll do the actual finish filing to shape kind of near the end. That way I get the exact look that I'm going for. But when I am swiping the sides to create the shape, I just kind of have my brush tilted on an angle here, and I'm just swiping it down so that the gel connects with the natural nail bed here as well, doing my best not to get any gel on the skin. I'm just trying to connect it to the nail, not the skin, obviously. Two things about the Amore bonder: it is very runny, but it holds a pinch really nicely. So what I'm gonna do here is just keep swiping my gel because it keeps running, which is one of the main reasons that I switched to the Fusion one, is because I didn't really like how runny this one was getting, but the Fusion Sculpture holds a pinch really well as well. So after I've cured it, I pull it out of the light, put my pinchers on, and then I take my Cocoa and Clair light and just kind of hold it over top so that it cures that pinch really nicely. I have found this to work really well by just having a little portable light to hold my pinch. After it has fully cured and I have taken the forms off, I'm going to go in with some of my Fusion Clear base and just do a thin layer on top. What this is going to do is fill in any gaps that maybe my lumpy and bumpy extensions have created, but it's also going to add a little bit more strength for filing, because as soon as this is cured, I'm going to wipe my dispersion layer and go in with just kind of a basic file at the beginning. I want to create my basic shape that I want for these nails, but I know that once I add my color gel and my gel layer as well, they're going to bulk up and I'm going to have to file them anyway. So this is just creating a little bit more of the shape so that I'm not wasting a bunch of color gel on top, and I have my general shape to go in with the color gels. Now, this is a wedding set, so we decided on Light Elegance's white swimsuit because it does have a pearl finish to it, and it's not a super bright white. It is a little bit more toned down, which matched her dress a little bit nicer. And I'm going to put this on the majority of her nails. So I'm going to put this all over her pinky nail, and I'm just doing a thin coat around it, like a thin floating coat, to just kind of get the gel where I want it. And I'm using a brush that has a really pointy head so that I can get nice and close to the cuticles, but I do like to take my dotting tool and get in a little bit more, or if I accidentally get a little bit of gel like kind of close to the skin or the cuticle, then I can just take my dotting tool and just kind of clean up my lines a little bit more. Now, I did not pre-plan what I was going to do on this particular client before she came in. I did have a little bit of a consultation with her like as soon as she sat down, and generally for wedding nails, I don't like to do anything too crazy because you're going to have those pictures forever. But this particular client, when she used to come to me, really liked when we would do some kind of extravagant nails on her. So I knew that she would want something really fun for her wedding day. So as we were applying this, we were kind of talking about the different aspects that we wanted to include in the nails, but generally she gave me kind of free rein with what I wanted to do. So I did decide to put the white all over all of the nails except for her pointer finger. Now, it doesn't overly matter what type of white we're going to use for this because we are going to cover it up with a chrome down the road anyway, which is not something that I had kind of pre-planned at this point. At this point, I just knew I wanted the majority of the nails to be white. If you guys got a glance at her ring at the beginning of this video, it does have some beautiful rose gold elements to it, so we wanted to include some sort of rose gold in this nail design. We decided to use Light Elegance's Cheers from Down Under because it has kind of a rose gold but also like a champagne gold to it as well. And I'm going to put this all over her pointer nail. And once I have it all over the nail where I want it while it's still wet, I'm going to take some of this loose glitter from Canada Nail Supplies. This is one of my favorite loose glitters that they've ever come out with. It's just a beautiful like yellowy champagne gold glitter mix, but it also has multicolored flecks to it, so it's perfect for something like this where you want a little bit more of it to pop. And we are just going to put this up the side of her nail on the outside. Once we have all the color gel and glitter gel down on the nails, we are going to encapsulate all of these colors. I believe at this point I was using my Fusion 2.5, but if you guys have kept up with tutorials, you know that I'm using Fusion SL Clear nowadays. After her nails have cured, I remove the dispersion layer and I go in with my finish file. So when I finish file, I generally do the majority of my finish file work with my e-file. And what I find this does is gets nice and flush to the cuticle at the very far back. It also makes the sidewalls taper in a little bit easier. And I generally just feel a little bit more comfortable with my e-file versus hand filing. So that's why I go in and do it first. But I do go in with a hand file after to do any sort of cleanup and kind of perfect the shape that I'm looking for a little bit more. Also, because this video was filmed back in September, I did not have my new e-file, so I'm using my older one in this video as well. Don't worry you guys, I promise you that video is coming soon. After I'm done with my e-file, I'm going to go in with my hand file and just kind of perfect mostly the tip of the nail to get the shape that I'm kind of looking for. And I also do like to kind of buff on top of the nails too, just to make it kind of taper down a little bit more and create a better apex. And I'm using my Light Elegance Lexi files in this video. I love the Lexi files. I find they basically just have to do the work for you because they have just such a nice grit to them. The only thing is you definitely have to make sure you season these files really well because you could cut your clients if you don't. So after I have my shape the way that I want it, I'm going to go in with one of these pink little buffers, and these are just from Danny Co, and you can get these at Can West. And I really like using these closer to the cuticle because I find it makes the gel go a little bit more flush to the natural nail, and you don't get like that bulge at the end if you do a buffing step right before your top gloss or whatever art you're going to go in with next. We are going to do like a white chrome on top of her white nails. So I'm going to take some of my Light Elegance tack, and what this is going to do is fill in any of the groove marks that that file created. And then this way when you go in with your chrome, it's not, those groove marks are not going to show through it. So you're going to cure that for the 30 seconds that it requires, then you're going to take it out. The top coat that I'm going to use is my Wildflowers Metallic Top Coat. It's my favorite top coat to use with any sort of chrome, and I'm just going to put this all over the nails. And in my Light Elegance LED Plus lamps, I cure it for 30 seconds and it is like the perfect chrome consistency for me. I'm going to take my Beamy White Pearl Chrome and some of these Joe Fresh sponges and apply that chrome all over the nails. And I like these sponges because they're super soft so they don't add texture to the chrome. And what I do is I rub it into the nails on one side and then I flip the sponge over to a clean size and just kind of burnish it in the nails a little bit more. Now I have a whole video up on my 5 tips and tricks for working with tricky nail art, and chrome is one of them, so be sure to check out that video if you want some more information on what I'm doing with the chrome here. After I've done the chrome, I like to stick it back in the light and cure the chrome in a little bit, and then I'm just going to remove the chrome using my Selena Rydin Big Daddy fan brush, I think is what it's called, something like that. I find it works really well for removing chrome because it is nice and soft. And we did decide to go in and do some stamping on top of this nail design, and I will leave the stamp that we used in the description box below because I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. But I love stamping white on white, especially if the white below it is a little bit lighter, then the bright white just kind of pops on top of it, and I thought it'd be perfect for this wedding design. On her ring finger, I wanted to do some Swarovski crystal embellishments because the ring finger is going to get the most attention at her wedding. So I'm just going to take this gold accent in the middle, and then I'm going to put some Swarovski crystals in the middle as well as kind of out to the sides of it. That way it kind of looks like a little bit of a ring on the nail. On the pinky finger, I did want to do some crystals as well, but I didn't want to do anything as extravagant because I didn't want to take away from the ring finger. So I'm going to take a different embellishment at the back of the nail closer to the cuticle. Again, put a Swarovski crystal in the middle, and then just do two kind of heading towards the free edge of her nails. And I thought this would be a nice little accent as well. This client loves her bling, so we decided to put some white opal crystals on the glitter nail as well, which looking back, it kind of takes away from the gold glitter that we added on top of it, especially because we went in with larger stones as well. But I don't know, she loves her crystals. I wanted to give it to her, so that's why we decided to add some extra ones. Our design is complete, so the last step is to top gloss over the entire design. So I typically top gloss over chrome twice as well as stamping twice. So because this nail has chrome and stamping on it, I definitely wanted to make sure that I was top glossing over it twice. And I do that on all of the nails that have the chrome on them, which was all the white ones. And then on the glitter nail, I just top glossed once. A lot of times I get asked how I remove the stamping on the skin, so I actually use acetone to take off any sort of stamping just because it takes it off the best. And because it's sealed in with a gel top coat, I don't have to worry about taking any of the top coat away by doing this. And I also like to use a Q-tip to remove the stamping as well. My last steps before sending my client out the door is to add some cuticle oil. Here I'm using the Young Nails Rose Oil. Then I go in with some lotion, and the lotion that I use is the Light Elegance Q and Lou lotion. And then I'm going to take some of my LCN Super Shine Finish Cleaner just to shine these nails up. They kind of adds like a little bit of an oil look to them, so it makes them super shiny, but it also takes off any lotion that got on the nails as well. And that is it. That is the nail design. I hope you guys enjoyed watching a full tutorial of how I create nail sets, as well as how I would work on a wedding set like this one. I love doing wedding sets. They're so much fun, especially if the client kind of lets me play around. But at the same time, I understand that sometimes brides want their nails toned down, and I do encourage that a lot of the times as well. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. Make sure you're following me on all of my social media, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!